The autumn wind swept through Riverside University's campus as Ethan Rivers hurried across the quad, his backpack heavy with textbooks and research papers. At 19, he was already making waves in the xenobiology department. Known for his unconventional theories about life beyond Earth, the late afternoon sun cast long shadows between the ivy-covered buildings. And Ethan's mind wandered to the upcoming presentation he needed to prepare for. Professor Winters. His thoughts scattered when he noticed the commotion near the science building. A small crowd had gathered around something on the ground, their voices a mixture of curiosity and concern. Ethan pushed through the circle of students and stopped dead in his tracks. There, nestled in a crater of scorched earth, sat an object that defied all logic. It was an egg. But unlike any egg found on Earth, the shell shimmered with colors that seemed to shift and flow like liquid starlight. Pulsing with an inner glow that cast prismatic patterns on the surrounding pavement. "Nobody touch it," a security guard was saying, though everyone had already stepped back instinctively. "We've called the authorities." Ethan knelt beside the egg, his scientific curiosity overriding caution. The shell was warm to the touch, and he could feel a rhythmic vibration beneath his fingertips like a heartbeat. His scanner, always in his pocket, showed readings that made no sense. The temperature fluctuated between extremes. The molecular structure was unlike anything in the database, and there was energy, vast amounts of it, contained within that beautiful shell. "Ethan, what are you doing?" Riley Chen's voice cut through his concentration. His childhood friend pushed through the crowd, her dark hair tied back in a practical ponytail, concern evident in her brown eyes. "Get away from that thing. It could be dangerous." "It's not dangerous," Ethan said, though he had no rational basis for that certainty. "It's scared." "How can you possibly know that?" Ethan couldn't answer. He just knew. The egg pulsed brighter, responding to his presence, and suddenly images flooded his mind. Stars collapsing, ships fleeing through cosmic storms. A desperate mother placing her precious cargo in an escape pod, sending it toward a blue-green planet with a prayer that someone kind would find it. "We need to get it out of here," Ethan said urgently, looking up at Riley. "Now, before the military arrives." "Are you insane?" Riley hissed, but she was already pulling off her jacket to wrap around the egg. Years of friendship had taught her to trust Ethan's instincts, even when they seemed crazy. "My car is in the south lot. Move fast." They ran, Ethan cradling the egg against his chest, while Riley cleared a path. Behind them, sirens began to wail in the distance. Students scattered as they burst through the science building's back exit, taking a shortcut Riley knew from her late-night study sessions. The egg grew warmer with each passing second, its glow intensifying. Ethan's apartment was a modest studio near campus, cluttered with research papers, alien plant samples, in various stages of study, and enough coffee cups to supply a small cafe. He cleared his desk with one sweep of his arm, sending papers fluttering to the floor, and gently placed the egg on the soft surface of his reading chair instead, surrounding it with pillows. "What now?" Riley asked, locking the door and closing the blinds. "We just stole what might be alien property. Do you realize the trouble we're in?" "Look at it, Riley," Ethan said softly, unable to take his eyes off the egg. "Really look at it. This isn't some government experiment or crashed satellite. This is life, conscious life, and it chose to land here. It chose me." Riley moved closer, her initial panic giving way to wonder. The egg's surface seemed to contain entire galaxies within its swirling patterns. "How do you know it chose you?" "I can feel it." Ethan placed his hand on the shell again. "There's a connection, like it's reaching out, looking for someone to trust. Its mother sent it across space because their world was dying. This egg, whatever's inside, it's the last of its kind." Oh, the egg cracked. A hairline fracture appeared along its surface, glowing with brilliant white light. Riley grabbed Ethan's arm, pulling him back, but he resisted. "It's okay," he said, as much to himself as to her. "It's time." The shell split open like a flower blooming, petals of crystalline material folding back to reveal the creature within. She was small, no bigger than a cat, with scales that gleamed like polished opals. Her body was slender and graceful, with wings folded against her sides that looked like stained glass catching sunlight. But it was her eyes that captured Ethan's heart. Brilliant violet eyes that held the depth of ancient wisdom and the innocence of new life. The dragon, for that's unmistakably what she was, looked up at Ethan and made a sound like wind chimes singing. Then, clear as a bell in his mind, he heard a voice, feminine and warm, filled with relief and joy. Finally, she said telepathically, her small form trembling, "I've been searching for you across the stars, my bonded one. I am Celesta, daughter of the Star Weavers, and you, Ethan Rivers, are the one my mother saw in her visions." "The one who will help me save both our worlds?" Riley gasped, having heard the mental voice as well. "Did that dragon just speak in my head?" Celesta turned her violet gaze to Riley, and when she spoke again, there was amusement in her mental tone. "I speak to the hearts of those I trust. You protect my bonded one, so you are pack, you are family. Thank you for helping him save me." Ethan sank to his knees, overwhelmed by emotions not entirely his own. Through the bond forming between him and Celesta, he felt her exhaustion from the journey, her grief for her lost world, her hope for the future, and underneath it all, a growing affection for him that made his heart race. "Your mother sent you to me?" he asked aloud, gently reaching out to touch her scaled snout. "Why me?" Celesta pressed against his hand, a purr like distant thunder rumbling from her chest. "Because you dream of stars, because your heart is brave enough to love what others fear, and because our souls recognized each other before we ever met. This bond between us, it is rare and precious. In my kind's history, only once in 1,000 years does a dragon find their true heart companion among another species." "Heart companion?" Riley interjected, crossing her arms. "Ethan, what exactly have you gotten yourself into?" Before Ethan could respond, his phone buzzed with an emergency alert. He pulled it out, and his blood ran cold. The message was clear. Unidentified cosmic object landed at Riverside University. All students and staff to remain in their residences. Military lockdown in effect. Anyone with information about the object's location will be rewarded and protected. "They're coming," Celesta said, her wings spreading slightly in agitation. "They always come. The fearful ones who see only weapons and threats. But Ethan, my bonded, you must understand, I am not just a dragon. I am a key, a bridge between your world and the greater cosmos. My kind were created by the architects, ancient beings who shaped life across galaxies. We are meant to unite species, to bring understanding and love between worlds." The military helicopters circled overhead like mechanical vultures, searchlights cutting through the darkness outside Ethan's apartment window. 3 days had passed since Celesta hatched, and each day brought new wonders and new dangers. The dragon had grown remarkably fast, now the size of a large dog. Her opalescent scales shimmering with inner light seemed to pulse in rhythm with Ethan's own heartbeat. Riley paced the small apartment, her phone buzzing constantly with messages from worried parents and university officials. "We can't hide here forever," she said, pushing aside the curtain to peek at the streets below. Armored vehicles blocked every intersection, and soldiers in tactical gear patrolled in pairs. "They're searching every building in the district. It's only a matter of time." Ethan sat cross-legged on the floor beside Celesta, their minds intertwined in the telepathic bond that grew stronger each hour. Through their connection, he experienced the world as she did. Every color more vibrant, every sound a symphony, every emotion amplified until it felt like his heart might burst from the intensity. He understood now what she meant by heart companion. This was not mere friendship or even love as he had known it. This was two souls becoming one, incomplete without the other. "There is another way," Celesta said, her mental voice resonating through both Ethan and Riley. "My mother's memories show me that humans are not alone in their fear. There are others who come, who have been waiting for my arrival. They are the reason the military searches so desperately. They know what I represent." As if summoned by her words, the apartment's lights flickered and died. Emergency power cast the room in dim red light, and then even that faded. In the darkness, a new illumination appeared, a soft blue glow emanating from the center of the room. The air shimmered like heat waves over summer pavement, and reality seemed to fold in on itself. When the light cleared, a woman stood before them. She was breathtakingly beautiful, with features that seemed almost human but not quite. Her skin held a faint luminescence. Her eyes were the color of distant nebulas, swirling with purple and gold, and her hair floated around her shoulders as if suspended in water. She wore clothing that looked like liquid silver, conforming to her athletic form while displaying symbols that hurt to look at directly, geometry that existed in more dimensions than the eye could process. "I am Sienna Cross," she said, her voice carrying harmonics that resonated in Ethan's chest. "Diplomatic envoy of the Consortium of United Worlds, and I have traveled 3 light years to find you, young dragon." She turned her cosmic gaze to Ethan, and a smile played at her lips. "And you, the human brave enough to bond with a Starweaver's daughter. Your species continues to surprise us." Riley had grabbed a lamp as an improvised weapon, holding it defensively. "Who are you really? What do you want with them?" "I am exactly who I claimed," Sienna said gently, making no threatening moves. "I mean no harm. In fact, I am here to offer protection, though I arrived later than I hoped. Your military detected my ship's approach, which complicated matters. They believe I am an invasion force." She laughed, a sound like crystal bells. "1 ship, 1 diplomat, hardly an invasion." Celesta moved forward, placing herself between Ethan and Sienna, her wings spreading protectively. "You are starborn," the dragon said, recognition in her mental voice. "My mother's memories carry knowledge of your kind. You are old, far older than you appear. Why does the Consortium care about 1 orphaned dragon?" Sienna's expression softened with genuine emotion. "Because your mother, Empress Aurelis of the Starweavers, was our greatest ally in maintaining peace across 17 galaxies. When we learned of your world's destruction, when we saw her send you away in those final moments, every member of the Consortium mourned. We have been searching for your egg's trajectory for months, hoping to find you before others did." "Others?" Ethan asked, standing slowly, his hand resting on Celesta's scaled shoulder. Through their bond, he felt her tension, her instinctive distrust warring with desperate hope for allies. "The Dominion," Sienna said, her expression darkening. "A faction that believes dragons are too powerful to exist freely. That your kind's ability to bond with other species and create unbreakable alliances threatens their vision of a controlled, orderly universe. They would cage Celesta, study her, use her abilities for conquest rather than unity. They are already on their way to Earth, disguised as a research delegation. Your military, unaware of the politics at play, will welcome them." The apartment shook suddenly, not from helicopters, but from something far more powerful. Through the window, the night sky split open with light. A massive ship materialized above the city, its hull gleaming like polished obsidian, weapons ports glowing with barely contained energy. It dwarfed the military helicopters, which scattered like startled birds. "No," Sienna breathed, her composure cracking. "They are here already. We are out of time." Riley dropped the lamp, her face pale. "That's an alien warship. Above our city. This is really happening." Ethan felt Celesta's fear spike through their bond, and instinctively he wrapped his arms around her neck, pressing his forehead against her scales. "I won't let them take you," he whispered. "I don't care what they are or what they want. You chose me, and I choose you. Always." The love that flooded back through their connection was so intense it brought tears to his eyes. Celesta's mental voice trembled with emotion. "My bonded, my heart, you do not understand what you promise. To stand against the Dominion is to become an outcast from galactic society, to be hunted across worlds. I cannot ask this of you." "You're not asking," Ethan said firmly. "I'm choosing. That's what love is, isn't it? Choosing someone every day, no matter the cost." Sienna watched them with an expression of wonder and sadness. "The bond between you is already deeper than I imagined possible. Most dragon bonds take years to develop such intensity. You two achieved it in days." That kind of connection, it is the very thing the Dominion fears most. It cannot be controlled, cannot be replicated, cannot be broken. Then we use it, Riley said suddenly, her tactical mind working through the problem. If their bond is powerful, if it's what makes Celesta special, then we make it our advantage. Sienna, can you get them off Earth? My ship is small, but fast, Sienna confirmed. I can transport 3 humans and 1 dragon, but we would be pursued. The Dominion does not give up easily. 3 humans? Ethan looked at Riley, then at Sienna. Riley, you can't come with us. This isn't your fight, Riley laughed, though there was no humor in it. You've been my best friend since we were 6 years old, Ethan Rivers. You think I'm letting you run off into space with a dragon and an alien diplomat without backup? Besides, someone needs to keep you from doing something stupidly heroic. A new voice cut through their planning, broadcast through every electronic device in the apartment simultaneously. Attention inhabitants of Structure 47B, you are harboring stolen cosmic property. Surrender the dragon designated Celesta within 10 minutes, or we will extract her by force. Resistance will be met with extreme measures. You have been warned. The voice was cold, mechanical, devoid of empathy. General Harper's face appeared on Ethan's phone screen, but his eyes were vacant, his movements stiff. He is being controlled, Sienna said grimly. The Dominion agent is using him as a puppet, speaking through him while keeping your military paralyzed. Clever and cruel. Celesta's scales began to glow brighter, power building within her small form. I will not go quietly into their cage. My mother died free, and I will live free or not at all.
Oh.
Nobody's dying, Ethan said, his voice steady despite the fear coursing through him. Through their bond, he pushed courage and determination, feeling Celesta draw strength from his resolve. Sienna, get us to your ship. Riley, grab anything we might need. We're leaving Earth, at least for now. There is something you must know, Sienna said, as they prepared to move. The bond you share with Celesta? It is changing you both. Ethan, your cells are already adapting, integrating with her cosmic energy. In time, you will live as long as she does, centuries perhaps. And Celesta, bonding with a human, has unlocked potential your mother never possessed. Together, you are becoming something new, something the universe has never seen. Ethan looked at Celesta, seeing his own wonder reflected in her violet eyes. Is that true? We're changing? I feel it, Celesta confirmed. Your thoughts are becoming clearer to me, your emotions more vivid, and I sense your mortal urgency fading, replaced by the long view my kind possesses. We are becoming balanced, heart and mind, passion and wisdom, human and dragon merged into perfect harmony. The building shook again, this time from soldiers breaching the lower floors. Boots thundered on stairs, voices shouted commands, and time ran out. Sienna raised her hand and the air around them began to shimmer with that same blue light. Hold on to each other, she commanded. Teleportation across this distance will be disorienting. Ethan grabbed Riley with one hand and wrapped his other arm around Celesta's neck. The dragon's wings enfolded them both, and through their bond, Ethan felt her love surround him like a protective shield. Whatever came next, whatever challenges they would face among the stars, they would face together. The world dissolved into light and motion, reality streaming past in ribbons of color and sound. Ethan heard Riley's startled gasp, felt Celesta's excitement at finally flying, even if only through teleportation, and caught a glimpse of Sienna's sad smile as she guided them away from Earth. The last thing he saw, before they materialized on her ship, was his apartment exploding inward as Dominion forces breached it. Finding nothing but empty space and the lingering warmth of a dragon who refused to be caged in the ship's cockpit, alarms blared as the Dominion warship changed course to pursue them. Sienna's hands flew over controls that looked like solidified light, coaxing impossible speed from her small vessel. Strap in, she called back to them. We are about to attempt something very inadvisable. I am going to use Earth's moon as a gravity slingshot to reach jump speed. It will be turbulent. Riley buckled into a seat that molded itself to her form, her knuckles white. Ethan remained standing, his hand never leaving Celesta's side. their bond so complete now that her balance was his balance, her strength was his strength. Through the viewport, Earth fell away rapidly, becoming a blue marble against the vast darkness. "Goodbye," Ethan whispered, knowing he might never see his home world again. But looking at Celesta, feeling the depth of connection between them, he found he had no regrets. Home was not a place anymore. Home was wherever they were together, whether on Earth or among distant stars. Celesta pressed against him, her mental voice warm with love and promise. "This is not goodbye to your world, my heart. This is hello to our destiny. Together, we will show the universe what true bonding means. We will prove that love is not a weakness to be exploited, but a strength that can unite galaxies." The jump through hyperspace felt like being torn apart and reassembled at the molecular level. Ethan gasped as reality snapped back into focus, his consciousness having touched something vast and incomprehensible during those seconds that felt like eternities. Beside him, Celesta trembled, her scales flickering with residual energy from the jump. Through their bond, he felt her awe and terror in equal measure. "Welcome to the threshold," Sienna announced, bringing her ship out of jump speed with practiced ease. "The neutral zone between Consortium and Dominion space. Here we have a few hours to prepare before they can legally pursue us further." Riley unbuckled from her seat on shaky legs, immediately moving to the viewport. What she saw there made her breath catch. They floated in a region of space that defied description. Nebulas swirled in impossible colors, stars danced in patterns that seemed almost choreographed, and scattered throughout were stations and ships of 1,000 different designs, each representing a different alien civilization. "It's beautiful," Riley whispered. "I never imagined anything like this existed." Ethan moved to join her, Celesta walking beside him with newfound grace. The dragon had grown again during their escape, now nearly the size of a horse, her wings fully developed and magnificent. When she spread them in the ship's cargo bay, they cast rainbow shadows across the walls. But it was not just her size that had changed. There was a regal bearing to her now, an awareness of her own power and purpose that had been dormant before. "Your bond has accelerated her maturation," Sienna explained, joining them at the viewport. "Normally, a Starweaver dragon would take decades to reach this stage of development. Your emotional connection provides her with energy that physical food never could. In turn, she is sharing her cosmic awareness with you, Ethan. Tell me, do you notice anything different about yourself?" Ethan considered the question. Now that she mentioned it, yes, there were changes. Colors seemed more vibrant. Sounds carried layers of meaning he had never perceived before. And when he looked at the stars, he could almost sense the vast distances between them. Could feel the gravitational songs they sang to one another. "I can sense space," he said slowly. "Not just see it, but feel it, like it's alive in some way." "That is Celesta's gift to you," Sienna said softly. "Just as you give her understanding of human emotion and connection. This is why bonded pairs are so rare and precious. They become greater than the sum of their parts, bridging the gap between species in ways that diplomacy and treaties never could." A proximity alarm chimed softly. Sienna moved to her controls, her expression growing concerned. "We have visitors. 3 ships approaching on intercept courses. 1 Consortium, 1 Dominion, and 1 I do not recognize. This should be interesting." The 3 ships took up positions around Sienna's vessel, forming a triangle that felt both protective and threatening. Communication requests came simultaneously from all 3. Sienna accepted them. Suddenly the cargo bay was filled with holographic projections of 3 very different beings. The first was clearly Consortium. Similar to Sienna but male, with skin that shifted through shades of blue and green. He wore formal, diplomatic robes that seemed woven from starlight itself. "Envoy Cross," he said with obvious relief. "Thank the architects you are safe. I am Ambassador Theron. The Consortium has been tracking your emergency beacon. We are here to escort you and your charges to safety." The second projection was Dominion, and everything about him radiated cold authority. His species was humanoid, but angular, with metallic silver skin and eyes like chips of ice. "I am Inquisitor Vex of the Dominion Security Council." The Dragon Celesta is classified as a cosmic hazard and must be taken into protective custody. Her human bondmate will be compensated and returned to Earth unharmed. Resist, and you will all be charged with conspiracy against galactic peace. The third projection was the most surprising. She was human, unmistakably so, though her clothing suggested she had been living among the stars for some time. She appeared to be in her 60s, with silver hair and eyes that held both wisdom and mischief. "Well, this is quite the standoff," she said with an Earth's accent that made Ethan's heart ache with homesickness. "I'm Captain Diana Foster of the independent trader ship Wandering Star. Been out here among the aliens for 30 years now, and I've never seen the Consortium and Dominion agree to disagree so politely. Must be one special dragon you've got there." Celesta stepped forward, her presence commanding despite her youth. When she spoke, her mental voice projected to all the holograms simultaneously, a feat that made even Sienna's eyes widen. "I am Celesta, daughter of Empress Aurelis, last of the Starweaver royal bloodline. I do not recognize the Dominion's authority to cage me, nor will I hide behind the Consortium's protection like a helpless child. I am bonded to Ethan Rivers of Earth, and together we claim the ancient right of sanctuary quest." The three holographic figures reacted with shock. Ambassador Thurin's colors shifted to agitated yellows. Inquisitor Vex's metallic features actually showed surprise. Captain Foster laughed outright. "Oh, that's brilliant. Haven't heard anyone invoke Sanctuary Quest in at least a century. Girls got style. Cannot be serious," Vex said, his voice dropping to dangerous levels. "Sanctuary Quest is a relic from before the Galactic Accords. It has no legal standing in modern space. But it does have historical standing," Theron countered, and despite being Consortium, he seemed intrigued rather than opposed. "If she invokes the ancient law, we are all bound to respect it, Inquisitor, even the Dominion. That is, if she and her bonded are willing to undertake the trials." Riley grabbed Ethan's arm. "What's Sanctuary Quest? What did Celesta just agree to?" Sienna explained, her voice heavy with concern. "It is an ancient tradition created when the first dragon bonds were formed. When a bonded pair is contested, when multiple factions claim rights over them, they can invoke Sanctuary Quest. They must travel to the Architect's Temple, on the edge of known space, and present their case before the Cosmic Council. If the Council deems their bond true and their cause just, they are granted absolute sanctuary. No faction can touch them. No law can separate them. They become protected by the oldest agreements in the galaxy. If the Council rejects them," Ethan asked, though he suspected he knew the answer. "Then they are dissolved," Vex said with cold satisfaction. "The bond is broken, the dragon is taken into custody, and the human is returned home with memories altered. It is the only fair solution." Ethan felt rage build in his chest, but before he could speak, Celesta's calm washed over him through their bond. "Do not fear, my heart," she said privately to him. "The Council will see what we have, what we are. Our love is real, pure, and powerful. It will shine like a beacon before them." "The journey to the Architect's Temple takes 3 weeks through the safest routes," Theron warned, "and you will not have safe routes. The Dominion will pursue, obstacles will arise, and you will be tested at every turn. Many who attempt sanctuary quests fail before they even reach the temple. Then we will be among the few who succeed," Ethan said, surprised by the conviction in his own voice. He looked at Celesta, seeing his own determination reflected in her violet eyes. Through their bond, love flowed like a river of light, strengthening them both. "We've come this far together. We'll go all the way." Riley stepped forward, her jaw set with stubborn loyalty. "They won't be going alone. I'm with them." Captain Foster's hologram grinned. "Well, you've got spirit. I'll give you that. Tell you what, kids. My ship isn't fancy, but she's fast, and I know routes that aren't on any official star charts. I'll guide you to the temple, no charge. Been too long since I've seen something worth believing in. And you three remind me why I fell in love with the stars in the first place." "This is highly irregular," Vex protested. "So is threatening a bonded pair," Theron countered. "Captain Foster's offer is generous and neutral. I propose we accept it as the compromise. The Dominion and Consortium will both send observers, but we will not interfere with the sanctuary quest itself. Let the architects judge this matter. After tense negotiations that lasted another hour, the agreement was reached. Captain Foster would guide them, with one consortium representative and one Dominion observer aboard to ensure fairness. Those representatives turned out to be Sienna herself, volunteering immediately, and a younger Dominion officer named Torin who seemed less hostile than Inquisitor Vex as they transferred to Captain Foster's larger ship. The wandering star, Ethan held Celesta close, their minds intertwined in perfect harmony. The dragon had nestled her head against his chest, and he could feel her heartbeat synchronizing with his own. They were changing still, becoming something new with each passing hour. His hair had begun to show streaks of silver that glowed faintly in darkness, while Celesta's scales had developed patterns that matched the rhythm of his thoughts. "Are you scared?" Riley asked quietly as they watched Earth's sun become just another point of light among billions. "Terrified," Ethan admitted, "but also more alive than I've ever felt. I don't know what's waiting for us at the Architect's Temple, or even if we'll survive the journey. But I know one thing absolutely. I love her, Riley. Not just as a companion or a friend, but with everything I am. She's part of my soul now." Riley smiled, tears in her eyes. "Then we'll make sure you both get to prove it. That's what family does." Celesta's mental voice embraced them both. "My bonded, my friend, my pack. Whatever trials await, we face them together. The Dominion believes love makes us weak, that bonds can be broken through fear and force. We will prove them wrong. We will show the entire galaxy that love, true love, that transcends species and spans the stars, is the most powerful force in the universe." The wandering star's engines thrummed to life, carrying them deeper into the cosmic unknown. Behind them, the Dominion warship followed at a distance, a predator waiting for any sign of weakness. Ahead lay 3 weeks of dangerous space, hostile territories, and challenges that would test not just their courage but the very foundation of their bond. Yet as Ethan stood in the observation deck with Celesta beside him, her wing draped protectively over his shoulders, Riley at his other side, steadfast and loyal, and the vast beauty of creation spread before them like an infinite canvas, he felt something unexpected. Hope. Not the naive hope of youth that believes everything will work out, but the mature hope of someone who has chosen their path and will walk it no matter where it leads. "To the Architect's Temple," Captain Foster announced over the ship's intercom, her voice warm with approval. "May your bond prove true and your hearts remain brave. The stars are watching, kids, and they're rooting for you." Celesta's purr resonated through the ship's hull, a sound of pure contentment and determination. Through their connection, Ethan felt her absolute faith in them, in their love, in the future they would build together. They had 3 weeks to prepare, to grow stronger, to prove to themselves and the universe that their bond was unbreakable. The journey to Hearts Across, the stars had truly begun.